everyone, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee and welcome to this video. This is the lovely little card we're making today. Isn't it a gorgeous little birthday card with this little red squirrel on the front? It reminds me of Squirrel Nutkin from all those old stories we used to read. So I love this card and I wanted to show you today how I made it. So I've got a piece here of basic white and here is the stamp set. It's this lovely one called Fluffy Squirrel and it's a two-step stamping, which means it's really easy to colour it in because the stamp does it all for you. So here I'm going to stamp the outline in Only Espresso. I'm just tapping it up, and as I said, this is just a scrap piece of basic white cardstock. Get my simple chamois out to clean everything up. So there is our outline stamped. So now I'm just going to stamp my little tree trunk, I think I meant to say. There we go. Isn't it cute? There we are. Put that down. And then I'm just also going to stamp my little acorn there. Just looking for a place that's easy to stamp that. And I'm stamping all of this, as I said, in Early Espresso ink. There's lovely little bits in the stamp set. You could stamp a little present for it to hold, all sorts, but I chose to go traditional with the acorn. Now I'm going to stamp the inside of this using some pecan pie or pecan pie, whatever you want to say, ink. So I'm just going to get my head right over my stamp so I'm looking straight through it, and this really helps you to line it up properly. So there we go. So give that a clean there. Yep, good squeaky clean. Put that away. And now while I've got it out, I'm going to stamp my sentiment as well. So I'm just going to use my grid paper to line that up straight. And we're going to stamp this in Old Olive ink. So let's get that out. And those are the colours that we're going to be using today, mainly Old Olive, Early Espresso and Pecan Pie. Right, let's put the stamp set away. We're all done with our stamping. So now what I'm going to want to do, once I've cleared the decks, is I want to do a little bit of colouring so I can colour in my, colour in my other bits. But first I'm going to punch out my little squirrel, it seems, and I'm going to punch him out using the matching punch. And I'm a punch girl, so I'm really happy to see this lovely new punch to punch out our squirrel. And as well, we'll be able to punch out our little acorn as well using the punch. So I'm just going to do that here. So just put that in, find a spot where it, line it up, and as you can see here I'm struggling to hold it in place. So all I'm going to do is get a little bit of post-it note. I'm just using one of these post-it flags, and this just gives me a nice handle. So I'm going to put that on the end there, and now I've got a nice handle just so I can easily line that up. And as always, you always punch from the opposite side, always punch from the bottom of the punch so we can see what we're punching. Right, now that I've got everything punched out, I am going to do a little bit of colouring here, and I'm going to use the Pecan Pie Stampin' Blend alcohol markers. And I'm just going with my darker colour here to add some shadows, mainly where along the base here and along the striations of the trunk. And then I'm going to blend everything out here using the light colour, and I'm going to sort of go between the two while I have them out until I get something that I'm really happy with. So I'm just redarkening some of the areas where I thought got blended out a bit too much. Now I'm just going to add some colour here in my little acorn as well. There we go. And then just going back where I want to darken the edge. Now I'm going to do the top of the acorn using some Old Olive. You could also use some Mossy Meadow. I think either of them would be good. This is a very small piece, so I wouldn't really faff about blending things out too much. And on the camera I can see it doesn't show it up nearly as well as it does in real life. Right, so now I'm going to use my scissors and we're going to fussy cut out quickly our little trunk here. It's really easy to do. I'm just going to move the paper, not the scissors. Always the one trick for fussy cutting is move your paper, not your scissors. And I'm trying to keep my scissors at a 45-degree angle when I remember. And this just helps to keep everything beautifully cut out. Now I'm not the world's best fussy cutter, not in a million miles of Sundays, but I can fussy cut out that little tree trunk, that little tree stump, and it's not too difficult. I left a little white border around it to make it easier for myself. So now I'm just going to cut out my sentiment here, and I'm just using my trimmer to do that. Just very much doing it by eye. Lovely. Right, we are ready to try and assemble our card now. So I'm going to bring in a little bit here of foil, and I'm just making 2 little strips here, about 1 centimetre wide for both of those, and we're going to need that now when we put together our card. So here we have our card base, and this time I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss for the base, and I've got a piece here of basic white cardstock that measures 14.35 centimetres by 10, and I'm putting it on the inside. And then I've got some of the beautiful Bokeh Designer Series paper that's going to go on the outside, and then some of the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper as our highlight. Now I'm going to put a little strip of gold foil along the edge of this, and this is just going to give it something to really just elevate it. Now the whole supply list and all the measurements for this card can be found on the blog post, and you'll find the links to that in the description box below, as well as all my social media links. So if you want to see more of my projects and stuff, do follow me on social media, and you'll be able to see all my projects that I make and everything. And as I said, if you want to shop these products, then just head over to my blog post and you will find all the information there to do that. Now I just realised as I put this down that I've made my piece a bit too long, so I've just pulled it up gently and trimmed off the edge, and no one will be any the wiser that we made that boo-boo. Right, let's give that a good press down, and everything looks fabulous. Right, now I'm going to mat my sentiment on a little bit of silver foil sheet as well, so it matches in with the rest of the card base. So I'm just going to cut this out by hand using my scissors, and I find a scissors with a longer blade helps you to cut straight more easily. Now I'm just going to use the edges of my dimensional here. Always use your edges of your dimensionals. They are good dimensions, so waste not, want not, as the saying goes. So we're going to use all of that up. And we're all crafters, we don't like waste, we like to make use of everything we have and use it to its full capacity, so don't waste any of your dimensionals. And so endeth the lesson. Right, I'm going to put down my little tree trunk here. My seal is not wanting to play ball, but it's there. And then we're going to pop up our little squirrel here on dimensionals. So I'm just putting a few around. I am generous with my dimensionals because I don't want things to cave in the post. I like to have an even dimensional. I don't like people to be able to feel it sagging at any point. So I'm just going to take all the little backings off it. Get rid of those things. Right, let's put this down. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Right, so finishing little touches, we're going to put the little acorn down here using a dimensional, or a couple of them, and these are the baby dimensionals, so they're really easy to use. So just going to stick that in these little paws. Isn't that cute? I love it. Right, finishing touches, I've got some of the adhesive backed Pearl Trio adhesive backed Pearl Trio. Now I think these are actually retired now. They hadn't when I made this card, but since then I think they have. But there are plenty of lovely embellishments in the catalogue, so I will link a few of those for you. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. So until next time, enjoy being creative. Take care. Bye.